Welcome guys, episode 9 of The Power. The final episode now has aired and it's graced our screens, bringing the series to a close. The series so far has been building up a storm, a true battle between a selection of women who, through their own experiences, have found themselves with the power. The series ended in a very anticlimactic way, but still left some story arcs open for those who wish to see a season 2. So, spoilers ahead as we explain the ending to The Power. The final episode starts with Roxy confronting her mother's boyfriend, Derek Rena. She finds out he was a cop and ultimately led to the death of her mother. This part of the storyline was intriguing, but it felt quite rushed, almost like it was just used as a way to drag Roxy's character from one part of the story to the next. I do wonder if Derek's storyline is finished for now, or if we'll see him in season 2. Margot is preparing her run for Senate, assessing the strategies she can use against her opponents. Rob, on the other hand, is pretty confident his marriage has now ended. The introduction to Rob's affair has happened quite late in the TV series compared to the book. Her son, on the other hand, is being recruited by Urbandok to spy on her campaign as he is slowly brainwashed. The way Urbandok manipulates Matt's feelings in this by saying we're not trying to hurt women, we are trying to protect men, is done in a way that is somewhat plausible, almost toying with our feelings as the viewer. Are Urbandok right? Does he agree with the crazies out there, or is he just trying to use Matty to get information? As we move further into the episode and tensions start to rise, we see Declan, who has finally made his way to the Romanian border in an attempt to steal Tunde's story as well as interview Zoya. However, this does not end well for him, and to be honest, we're not that sad. He was a bit of a... We then jump back to Roxy as she confronts her dad about her mother's death and finds out the truth that he was responsible. But instead of giving this electrifying clash between two very dangerous people, we just end up with this bit of a fizzle where Roxy actually just gives her stepmom the power and walks out. Eve then begins to convert her cult members, followers, and in a ceremonial way starts to give the other nuns the power, almost bringing them to believe in her as a new god. Now the biggest chunk of the episode starts to stem around Margot's attempt for Senate. But before we see the full preparation that Margot is going through, we get one last trip with Rob and his attempt at adultery, flirting with Kate and eventually scoring himself a room key. At the other side of the building, Margot is preparing for her debate. This starts off well with statements and accusations flying from both directions, making us appreciate the political drama that is entwined in the series. As things get heated, Daniel Dandan starts to question Margot on Josh's boyfriend Ryan, and how not only does he have the skein, but he's being shipped off to a camp where maybe he's being experimented on. This leads to a shocking outburst from Margot. This was unexpected, but it was a little bit more enjoyable than the scene we had with Roxy. The final part of the episode concludes with Tunde shocked by the amount of damage inflicted on the Romanian border. We then learn that Tatiana has set up the soldiers and is working with her sister. Is Tunde too close to danger, or will he be caught by Zoya, or even worse, caught in a random crossfire of a battle as the nation starts to fall? This is one of the biggest questions now set out for season 2. What will happen to Carpathia? Will it fall into war or chaos, or will Tatiana and Zoya manage to be able to take over the whole country? Just before we end the show, we finally get to see how powerful Roxy is, as she has her first confrontation with Eve. Eve attempts to control Roxy, but ultimately fails as Roxy breaks free in an overwhelming show of power. Again, here we expected a bigger clash, but instead we got almost a budding new friendship. Does this now mean that Roxy's joined the cult? Fellowship. With this shocking or unshocking end to season 1, we finally start to see the world where the power has switched from men to women. As Tatiana takes over Caphilia, Zoya is in charge of the rebels, Margot looks like she's about to win her Senate seat. All in all, the series has brought them into their power, ready for a season 2. And finally, as the episode drew out, the mention of the soldier from the previous episode, episode 8, has been confirmed, and clearly that soldier is Roxy. Eve has managed to recruit her into the Fellowship. So how are these two powerhouses now going to take on the world in season 2? Ultimately though, all these revelations feel like they've come too late, and it looks as though season 1 has been purely written just to try and get a series 2 out of the books. I will say, the addition of Zoya as a brand new character has brought a new depth to Tatiana's character, but still, I feel like this could have all been explained in 5 episodes and not 9. It felt from the beginning that we're leading to this great power shift as all these women started to step up, yet it seemed quite deflated as the build-up led to nowhere by the end of the series. So, do I think we'll get a season 2? I think it's likely, but unfortunately there is currently a writer strike going on in America, and although the authors for this and the writers are British, those kind of things still have a knock-on effect, especially with Amazon having to greenlight the project. There have been many series in the past, such as Heroes, that go through these writers strike and they never quite come out the same afterwards. So let's just hope the Power isn't stuck in limbo for the foreseeable future. Personally though, I really would like to see a season 2, just to see how the writers managed to dig themselves out of the hole of changing characters' backstories and adding new things that were never there in the first place. I really want to see how they managed to wind and bend these routes to actually get to the end of the book, or whether they actually will scrap the end of the book they currently have and go with something completely new. All in all, I think it's been an okay series. I am looking forward to a season 2, just to see those changes. Right guys, as that's ended, check out some of our other stuff. We've got Silo, a dystopian future that's essentially Fallout, but made by Apple. Finally guys, thank you for coming. And as we always do, later on in the week, there will be our final Powercast, so go and check that out. Thank you for watching. Let us know your thoughts on the series. Have you enjoyed it? Have you read the book? If you have, what did you think? And as always, we'll catch you next week with something new.